talk outside of these meetings. I mean, it happens, but like city council, they like I can't go up to 3 of them at one time and say, hey, I want to talk about the zoning code, you know, blah, blah, blah. I can't do that. I can do it one at a time with each one of them, but I can't do it together because it's not public.
Yep. Alrighty, well, we are now live. We do have some guests here with us. Real quick, for roll call, looks like the only person that we're missing is Tyler. I sent everybody the minutes last week. I apologize to Logan. I just noticed that his name got auto-corrected to Priot instead of Prior in there. So I'll make some corrections there. Otherwise, we'll need to have a vote to approve the minutes.
As long as I'm not shown as absent, I'm good.
So what?
As long as I'm not shown as absent.
No, yeah, you're good. It shows you're here. So we got a first with Eric. Then we need a second.
Second.
Cool. All right. So our minutes are passed. We have some folks here from Conway Court. They have a little presentation for you. If y'all want to just introduce yourselves to everybody, and then I'll let you guys have the floor.
Okay, I'll start. I'm Joy Wasson. I am an environmental consultant. I work with, one of my projects is working with the Arkansas Forest and Drinking Water Collaborative. And we have a grant that we received about this time last year called the Community Grant. And so one of our host sites, so that's what I'll be talking about today, is Conway Corps. So Conway Corps is a great partner of ours. And then Central Arkansas Water, Beaver Water District are the other two collaborating partners in the project. And we're also working with the University of Arkansas, and the housing agency for this group is the Forestry Division, so the State Department of Agriculture. And so we've got a great collaborative of partners. This is a 3-year project, and so I was just asked by Stephen if I could come present it to you guys tonight, and so that's why I'm here. Thanks for having me. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Oh, I'm Stephen Hogan. I'm a water systems engineer with Conway Corps. So I deal mostly with our water system, our wastewater system, our treatment plants, Brewer Lake, which is a primary concern of ours with community. So that's kind of my role in this.
Okay, so I think I'm gonna start and then hand it off to you, correct?
Yeah, if my computer behaves.
Okay. So the collaborative, just a little bit about us, we're a partnership basically between the forest industry and the drinking water industry. And we began around 2015. And our purpose, our goal is to basically work together to provide clean drinking water for Arkansans into the future, particularly focusing on our forests staying healthy. So that's our purpose. We have just shy of 200 members, and it's the water utilities, it's the forest industry, but we also have academia, private landowners, and conservation organizations involved. There's more of us around the country. Some of us are, state-based, as you can see, and some of us are more watershed-based, like us. And this was in 2021 when I started at this position of coordinating the group, and it's growing. So you can see now, more and more states are getting involved in having these forest and drinking water collaboratives. So one of the big intersections between the forest industry and the drinking water industry here in Arkansas is the riparian, planting trees in the riparian areas. So the floodplains of our streams and rivers, they're kind of our buffer zone to buffer out pollutants and sediments before entering our waterways. And so many water utilities are clearly understanding this and looking to the future on how to beef up our riparian buffers throughout all of our watersheds. but particularly the ones that provide us drinking water. So this picture you can see basically this is actually kind of a typical Ozark stream, unfortunately. And I grew up in the Ozarks, so there are examples where this isn't the case, but often when you see those examples, they have robust, hard, old growth riparian forests intact. But when you take them away, then the stream banks start eroding. All this sediment, as you see, kind of chokes out the channel. The channel starts taking new paths and it erodes even more. So it's a little bit like a domino effect. And so just looking at, this is actually the upper Little Red, which feeds Gooseberry Lake, which provides water to a lot of Arkansans. But why are we focused on this so much is because basically rising water treatment costs. And so when you have many of those situations cumulatively across the landscape, this is what you see in a rainfall event. And this is Gooseberry Lake, and right at the mouth of where one of the forks feeds in there is that intake for Clinton's water treatment facility. And so they've had to purchase, $3 million clarifier after clarifier to take out the sediment. And this is just a really small community that doesn't have that type of funds. So when we look to the future, these are our partners in this project, and we're all really concerned with that same issue. So,
It's water.
no, I'm okay. Thanks. It's really a unique partnership. We're pretty proud and excited for this. But the water utilities have all stepped up to be host sites for us to grow these trees. So let me get to, let me go through just a little bit of this stuff on the ground. So when we are looking at restoring a floodplain, sometimes we can just go in and reforest the project area and it will begin to restore itself depending on the severity of it. Sometimes you have to go in and you have to actually do construction work to restore the channel back in place, hold it in place until you can restore the vegetation. But the vegetation is the long-term goal. That's what really holds our streams together. And so when we look at, this is a project in Clinton, and so our experience with this is that even a very expensive restoration project that requires construction requires the biggest part of that is the trees, the bioengineering of the project. The structural engineering holds it in place in a very dynamic system and for a period of time. And but then the old growth roots, that's what really holds it all together. So in Arkansas, we're so blessed with over 52 inches of rain a year on average. That and warm temperatures, we grow things almost year round, especially here in central Arkansas. So out west where they do this work and have to wait years for the vegetation to come back, you can see in just 1 or 2 seasons, you can hardly tell we were there in the first place. So there's an advantage to, particularly in the Ozark Highland and Ouachita Mountain region, to use potted trees over bare root seedlings. So bare root seedlings have found to be pretty useful and successful in flatter areas. But where we have flashy floods and flows, we need something a little more beefy to put in the ground. And when we do that, we've seen that even, this is just after construction, and even during an immediate flood, we have little to no erosion. So we want to understand, why is this practice not really adopted very much by landowners? And in doing projects over time, there are many reasons. This is not really a straightforward thing to do for your typical landowner who has many other irons in the fire. But first and foremost, we have a lack of locally sourced potted trees. So we've got one place in state that grows native potted trees, and she sells out very quickly. And so we have to, in these projects, we have to purchase them out of state, ship them in, pay additional shipping fees. They're stressed when they get here from whatever transportation time they had. So what we're trying to do with this project is address some of these hurdles. We want to provide locally sourced potted trees. We want to help the landowner understand and have manpower and contracting funds if needed to prepare the site before you plant the trees. Very important part. Irrigation is really important, so we want to provide technical assistance, and I'll talk about that in a minute, to help the landowners irrigate those trees in the first growing season, first summer. Reason for that is because these cost share programs only reimburse the landowners if the trees survive. So,
How long does it have to survive first?
So by the time they come and basically do a follow-up investigation,
Do you know how long that takes on average?
it takes anywhere, depending on, how busy the people are, 3 to 6 months to come out and do that type of thing.
Okay.
So if you plant in the winter and they come in June and they're fried, which I have personal experience helping a landowner do that. So these are some of the reasons, real valid reasons. Sometimes supplemental planning needs to happen. We don't always have 100% survival rate. And all of this just shows that the landowner really needs some help to do this. And that's why, if you get one or two landowners that has a bad experience with some of these programs, then the word spreads quickly. So our project is 3 years. We're looking at really modest amount of trees grown, 5,000 to 7,000. We're wanting to target a couple of miles of stream reforested. We'd like to help 6 to 7 landowners, so we're kind of looking for bigger plots. And a lot of volunteer hours that we're trying to get, the community involved in. So our goal is to basically build a riparian tree bank. We've got 3 spots now throughout the state, and we want to be able to provide these trees cost-free to riparian landowners that live in these drinking water watersheds. So it's statewide, but they need to live in a watershed that provides drinking water. And then like I said, we're going to provide some assistance, financial and technical, to the landowner. So again, here are our host sites: Beaver Water District, Central Arkansas Water, and Conway Corp. In the watersheds that we're targeting first are in those watersheds. We'll accept applications from anywhere that's in a drinking water watershed, but we'd like to invest these back into the watershed. So for this area, it would be the Lake Brewer watershed.
I have a question.
Yeah,
If I'm
sure, yeah, please.
About 7 to 8 years ago, Conway had a really big problem with the lake turning over that supplies the drinking water to the entire community, and everyone noticed, even from the most sensitive palate down to the numbest, basically, that the water tasted dirty. Somebody I used to know called it lakey water. And part of the solution that Conway Corp came up with was to work with the University of Arkansas to plant some riparian boundary trees around Lake Brewer, as well as making some other changes. Was community involved in that process?
No, we were not.
Because it had clear effects. I mean, the proof was in the pudding with that one, because I'm drinking the water right now and it tastes wonderful. And I haven't in the last 3 or 4 years had any problem with any bad flavors, so the trees are definitely working. Sorry.
Kudos. I did see the planting projects. They've presented that at our we have a conference every summer called the Arkansas Agriculture, Forest and Water Conference, and those planting projects have been presented. They've looked phenomenal.
Yeah, they seem very successful. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, that's fine. And if anyone has questions, please, it's very informal. Just ask away. One really interesting and exciting part for me of this project is working with the University of Arkansas engineering students. We're going to come up with some mobile solar-powered irrigation devices.
Oh, nice.
So we've used these on a few of our project sites in the past, and you know, a lot of these sites are very rural. They don't have a hose you can hook up to a water spigot and irrigate. So really the stream or lake or whatever we're protecting is the source of water to irrigate with. And really just that first summer is the critical one.
Yeah.
If they can make it through that first droughty summer, then they have a very high survival rate after that. And so these will kind of be like, hopefully if they work well, they'll be like, you know, tilling machines that farmers can take from the local conservation district or rent them out. And so we can use these, pick them up and use them in a different location. The actual irrigation part is just pretty cheap tubing, but so we're gonna work with the engineering students to develop these and try them out so that we help the landowners with their success rate.
Very nice.
So we're right here in the first 12 months, and we've to date we've potted 3,300 seedlings across the 3 sites. And we've had several events, and I feel like hold on, let's see here. Yeah, okay, my slides got mixed around. So I wanted to show this first, but we had some events in the spring, so pretty much right after we got the funding. We had 4 or 5 events throughout the state. These are some of the trees and shrubs that we purchased from a variety of different companies and had them brought in. We have primarily been working with students and master naturalists to this point, but we're really, you know, expanding our volunteer base now that we've got sort of the mechanics figured out. But here's the North Little Rock students that helped us set up the site, kind of lay out our filter fabric, and then we had a couple of potting events. In the spring, we're trying different pots, plastic, fabric, sizes are different. We've had some donated to us, so we've been, like all these pots in the center were all donated to us from Game and Fish, from some of their restoration projects. And so and this is Northwest Arkansas Beaver Water District's site, and the students that helped out there. We had an event just in November here in Conway, and had a great turnout, bunch of Hendrix students. We potted over 300 trees in an hour. I wish I would have brought more trees because we had so many people show up.
They're
So
just getting started after an hour, aren't they?
yeah, right?
Ready to roll.
I mean, they had all this, you know,
Mhm.
unused and untapped energy. So here's kind of a summary of what we've done to this point. That's not the right total because I added to the Conway core trees today. But yeah, it's a little over 3,000. And we're in the phase of looking for landowners. So we've got 2 landowners that we've selected so far. We have one is in the Lake Maumelle watershed. One is in the Northwest Arkansas area, Beaver watershed. And we're, you know, looking for some landowners that, you know, we don't have a lot of, we're not targeting a lot of landowners, so we're hoping to get you know, because of these irrigation systems, you know, kind of some bigger chunks of property that we can reforest, but we're not gonna turn anyone away, you know? So we're definitely, you know, looking at smaller sites as well. They may just not get the irrigation assistance. But we, you know, if landowners have had previously failed projects, well, that would be a great use for this program. But looking at trying to maximize what kind of practices they're doing. So this is an example landowner we worked on. Some of the pictures came from his site. And you can just see he does a lot of conservation practices on his farm. He's kind of what we call a champion landowner, you know, I mean, he's like, he sort of does it all because he's got the conservation interest at heart. And the, you know, for demonstration purposes in a project startup like this, you know, that's what we're hopefully trying to do is demonstrate that this works if you do it and get assistance and, you know, and have help, not just having the trees delivered and dumped off and leave, but from the planning to the planting to the care afterwards, and then monitoring that success and seeing, you know, is it, you know, how much survival rate did we have when we did all of these things? And then that will help us inform NRCS, who helped fund this project, understand why this practice that they offer to landowners is not used very often at all.
Mhm.
So it kind of gives them back at the end some feedback on, so sorry, that's my phone, on how we can help, you know, help them reach more landowners with this practice. So that's it for me, and you know, I'm happy to take questions or comments now.
So are there specific areas in those watersheds that you're looking for landowners? I mean, because I assume we're looking for land around Brewer Lake with a watershed or.
And any tributaries that drain in. So, you know, it's really like.
So it would be Faulkner County and Conway County probably.
I'll get to that.
Okay.
I'll get to that.
And, you know, it's kind of different in each area, like, in Northwest Arkansas, Beaver Watershed Alliance is a huge partner up there, and they've been doing a lot of assessment work. So they sort of already know where a lot of these, you know, where it would be very effective. And they already have contacts with a lot of those landowners. So they were the first to sign up, the first landowner. We put 600 trees in his property. We filled in some gaps that weren't successful before. And so it was a great connection, immediate, but they had done a lot of back work.
Yeah.
To
That's
know
actually kind
that.
of what I was wondering, if there are like priority areas, but maybe not. Maybe we don't know what they are quite yet.
Yeah, so it kind of just depends on the spot. That's a great question. Okay, well, thanks for the opportunity to share.
Thank you for taking the
Yeah.
time.
Okay, here. Is this your connection?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, mine's got a type C. It does work. This is me. I wasn't for sure how to start the thing off. So like, well, I'll just put my name on there in Conway Core and go on with it. There we go. So yes, all of our water comes from, or the majority of our water comes from Brewer Lake. It was a lake constructed by the Corps of Engineers. It was finished in 1983. There's about 19 million gallons a day of water that can come out of that lake safely. And that's split between us and Conway County Regional Water District. I keep forgetting there we go. So our lake our lake is fed by Cypress Creek, which was dammed up as part of the construction. We got a drainage area of about 36 square miles. And I defined watershed on there. It's everything that drains into one particular point, which would be our intake. Works up to about 36 square miles. Why is it a problem? And it is exactly taste and odor issues is kind of what community will help us with. And it's exactly like you said, planting trees to be able to keep the soil in place. The taste and odor issues are seasonal, and it has to do with the temperature changes in the lake. So whenever the temperature differential gets too much, then all the layers start to shift. Whenever they start to shift, you bring up all that sediment that's off the bottom that's filled with all the nutrients that have settled, and then all of the bacteria love it, and so they start putting out everything that makes the water taste bad. So, and all of those nutrients got in there from the watershed, how the land is used, fertilizers, things of this nature. As the rain falls, it grabs those nutrients and they run off into streams into the lake, and then we pick it up and make drinking water out of it. Kind of a gross way to go about it, but that's the way it is. That's the way it is everywhere. So what is Conway Corps doing about it? One of the things we are doing is we have a partnership with UCA. It's been going on for a long time. I know we have data back into 2019 specifically for taste and odor issues. So we've been monitoring it. We can see what our seasonal changes are. We can see about what time of year it typically shifts, and we can plan accordingly with our treatment processes. We have added additional treatment. A big thing we've added is this powder activated carbon, which is fed at the lake, so it spends 11 miles tossing and turning in the pipeline before it gets to our plant, and then that powder activated carbon is filtered out. But that helps a lot with our taste and odor issues. And also, this is a newer one. We're working on a watershed management plan. This was I like that picture, so I had to keep it in there. Kind of shows how the different pieces of land are kind of used, but it was a Corps of Engineer. We partnered with them to develop this watershed management plan. Every time I see WMP, I used to work at ADEQ, so I wrote a lot of waste management plans. So every time I see WMP, I think waste management plan, but this is a watershed management plan. And it is to improve our water quality and make sure our lake lasts as long as possible. It still produces good drinking water. So they have gone, Black & Veatch is the consulting firm that was chosen for this project. They created a model, I believe it was an HPSF, hydrologic process simulation Fortran or something to that effect. It is way above my head how that thing even works. I've tried to understand it. I can't. So they took a lot of different factors. Some of them were gathered on site. Some have been from UCA. Some came from USDA. Lots of different resources, and they gathered them all together to create this model. It takes into account how the different pieces of land are used, residential, agricultural, forest, how the land is laid out, all your slopes, what types of soils you have, and then, of course, the different nutrient sources throughout your watershed. From that, we were able to come up with kind of some ideal areas to then try to implement some of these BMPs. Or best management practices, which is your riparian buffer zones. I've got a whole list on the next slide. This plan has been written up based off of this model. It's about 40 pages. We're having a meeting on it in about a week, next Thursday, I believe, just to discuss kind of where do we go from here? Have we missed something? But this it doesn't really prioritize, but it kind of gives us an idea of where we are going to get our best bang for the buck. Where do we spend the money to get the best use out of that? How can we prevent the most nutrients from getting into our lake? And that's where, so it's going to be the installation of different best management practices. And And of course, you got the riparian buffers, you have a lot of other ones that would include trees, which is where community tree comes in. That would be one of our sources of trees, I would imagine. There's a lot to it. There's nutrient management plans, there's stormwater for frac pads. A lot of different things were considered as part of this model. But that's kind of that's where Conway Corps is coming from. We're looking at how can we best improve our watershed to make the best water possible for as long as possible. That's very short, but that's the gist of it. So
So right now you don't have any landowners in those areas that
no, we were
interested
that was kind of the idea, was we would do the model and we would figure out where should we look the hardest.
Yeah.
And I had somebody ask me the other day about, is that going to be the only areas we look? Is those the only people we should consider looking at? And I'm like, no, it's not. I would say if you had a landowner who was in one of those areas, they may jump to the front of the list. But I wouldn't say that because you weren't in one of those areas that it wouldn't be considered.
How many years is it before we are, as Conway Corp, are partnered with Community Water and pulling from the lake up north to supplement our supply?
We're already connected to Community Water. We go back and forth with them. Sometimes they need water from us. Sometimes we need water from them.
So are we looking at any areas up there in their watershed as well?
No. This is specific to Brewer
Specifically
Lake.
Brewer Lake.
We are looking at eventually getting a pipeline into Greers Ferry Lake, but that's a long-term effort. You're probably looking at 10 years out or so.
Okay.
It's a pretty substantial
Yeah,
effort.
it's extensive.
Yeah. I think it's a 33-mile pipeline or
Yeah,
something.
it's really long.
It's gonna take a minute.
So do you have any plans for how you will maybe look for these landowners, would going to the local NRCS and seeing if there are landowners in those areas that they've worked with before?
One of the things we're going to try is from this watershed management plan, we've had several public involvement meetings, and they've had some fair turnout. And so we're gonna get with our marketing group and find those names and contact those people and find out how many of them might be interested. And then yes, also NRCS, the local conservationists, whoever's willing
I would
to
say even the
help out.
county extension
Exactly.
office, since they know landowners in those areas and probably even know which stream banks are not looking good.
Exactly. When you talk to the people on the ground in the field, they know who owns what, who's willing to talk, who'll shoot
Yeah,
you
and
when you
who's
step
easier to
on
work
site.
with and that sort of
Yes.
thing, yeah.
And the extension office is just a nice lunch walk right across the courtyard and you're there. It's right next to y'all.
I guess one of our other offices.
Yeah, the downtown office, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
they're out there.
I
Yeah.
forgot you're over at the service.
Yeah, I'm way out there behind top
But
of the
actually,
line.
Have Crystal
prob-
walk over.
you probably will want to talk with the Conway County.
Yes.
So
Yeah, that
we've
would
been
be-
involved with the district conservationist and the game and fish private lands biologist. We presented this to the water quality and quantity committees and the forestry and wildlife committees. So kind of put they're the network that reaches the landowners on the ground. So that was the first thing we did, is present this project to them so they can start talking about it. We've got this on our website. We've got a specific page for Conway Corps too.
Did you want to say your website for anybody who might be watching?
Oh yeah, sure. It's arforestandwater.com. So Arkansas, AR,
Is and spelled out? Forest and water?
arforestandwater.com. Yeah, spelled out. And that also has a link to our landowner interest form. So even if landowners are just interested and they just wanna get the conversation started. But also like someone can be a liaison for the landowner and fill out the information for them. And then that just sort of triggers us to contact them, and then we can look at their property and just see what their needs are. So yeah, and our volunteer network will help too. So the Arkansas Master Naturalists, they're diehard volunteers, they're great, and they also sort of tip us off to landowners and interested people. But also just another reason why I come here is to farm out or fish for volunteers and also farm out this information so it just starts spreading.
When's the next planting date?
Planting.
Planting.
It'll probably be in the next month. Now that we're past the holidays, I reached out to our volunteer groups to see when they're available. What's really proven to be best is to sort of arrange these volunteer events around the group's availability, and then we can publicize it for other people to come. But like the Hendricks students made up 18 of the 26 that came out, and so we just picked a date that worked for them. Mm-hmm. And so I've kind of sent an email today to see, okay, what dates would be good for your groups this winter and spring. So
are you taking advantage of UCA's volunteer program as well?
The big event.
Yeah, and
February, I think, is when they do that.
Yeah, we'll definitely be tapping into that resource. But they've got a biology group that's interested and a fisheries group that's interested. So I reached out to them too. And I think just spreading the word is really helping to get both volunteers and just awareness of the project. So.
Well, we're glad you came today to educate us as well.
Yeah, and I would take any of you as volunteers anytime you want to get your hands dirty.
I'll give you my email.
Okay, that'd be great.
Actually, you already have it.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Absolutely. If y'all want to hang out, you're more than welcome to. Our next little order of business here is just kind of going over our urban and community forestry grant. Ms. Ann, you can kind of give us some details on
Can
our
we
list.
do introductions? 'Cause
Sure.
we have new people that, and that I don't know, and they probably don't know either.
Absolutely. So for all the newbies, my name is Skylar. I've been on the tree board now. I think this is my fourth-ish year, somewhere in there. Last year I served as the chair. We'll vote on all that stuff here in just a little while. A little bit about me. I've worked for the city now for almost 11 years. Worked at Parks and Rec, and then now I'm over at the community center. So hopefully all good things there. And then we can just move on down the list here.
My name is Jonathan Marshall, and I work for the city of Conway Parks and Rec, where I'm the ground supervisor. I've been there for 5 years.
I'm Gabriella Stanford. I'm a student at UCA, and this is my second year, I think.
Eric Bell, starting my second year, tree board service, having a great time.
I'm Krista Quinn. I'm the Faulkner County Extension Agent for Horticulture, and I serve as an advisor to the tree board.
Clayton Cooper, I'm a forester in the forest industry, work for Green Bay Packaging, West Fraser, and now Potlatch Delta, formerly Delta Timber.
Oh, it's nice to have another forestry representative.
I'm Logan Pryor. I work at Conway Corporation, and I've been on the tree board for 3 years now, including this year.
So this is, you're
This is my
starting your
starting
third
my
year.
third year.
Gotcha. I'm Ann Tucker. I'm the city planning director. And at this point, your city liaison. Ryan's gone. He doesn't work here anymore. So just bear with me. I know very little about what I'm doing.
But she's our point person if we have questions.
CC her in every email that's tree
Yes.
board related.
Yes.
So we'll go over this here in just a little bit when we get to like those little handouts and stuff. right now. Ms. Ann, if you wanna kinda give us an update on where we were at with
Okay,
our.
so, for those of you who don't know, the city was awarded, or the tree board, it's the tree board.
Yeah.
Okay, tree board was awarded a $250,000 grant by the, Forestry Commission, am I saying that right? Yes,
Well-
and, for specific purposes, some of which I'm not completely still clear on, but right now, this portion of it, we are identifying trees. There's a representative from Davie Resource that has been combing the area and doing an inventory of trees that, and there's 4 sections, I believe, identified in the city, and he's counting and assessing, I guess, trees in right-of-way and in public parks and that sort of thing. I believe he's due back
Pretty soon.
like 6th, 7th, 8th, somewhere around in there. I've met him once, but he doesn't work out of City Hall. He's just out and about and stays in a hotel and stuff. But yeah, he's gonna be back to resume that count. I think he's identified.
It's a little over 2,000.
Oh,
wasn't it?
yeah,
It was
and
less
I
than
think
that.
we've said somewhere in the neighborhood of 5,000 is what the,
Aim.
yes, somewhere. So that's about where he's at right now. They're gonna work with us on our tree ordinances and some things like that. And they have reached out to me and asked me to give them some feedback about some of those things, which I'm 3/4 of the way done. Christmas hit, things went crazy, Ryan left, it can't even tell you how crazy it's been around here for the last month or so. But we have another meeting or Zoom call, whatever, Teams meeting, whatever, with all of those people tomorrow. And with every one of those, I'm gaining more knowledge. Honestly, when Ryan it came to me and said, I wanna apply for this grant, I was like, do what you gotta do, buddy. And I left it literally all to him and Robbie. So I'm coming in at it from the backside.
So ultimately, the goal is to create an urban forest management plan, but only for specific tracts in the city, because that's how what the grant would allow for. So it's like underserved tracts. But, a management plan, even if it's only for portions of the city, can probably be useful to other parts as well. And it's kind of interesting because in like the founding ordinance of the Conway Tree Board, it actually says that is what the tree board's job is.
What's
Like that's the
supposed to
whole
do.
reason we were created 20 years ago.
20 years ago.
Was to
2006.
do this urban forest management plan. So we
We're
finally
almost there.
we finally got this grant.
But somebody
and-
gave us money to have somebody else do it, so.
Yeah, and we've got an outside consultant working on it. And I do think in the very near future, they're going to start kind of the public portion of the project where they're looking for feedback from the public. And I think the tree board will be very, very important in that part.
Yes. We'll start including Clayton and Jonathan into these kind of emails and stuff. The first couple meetings have been, if you're big on like GSI stuff and maps, like dude, this is like your favorite thing. If you're like me, you're looking at all these maps of Conway and you're like, I got no idea what I'm looking at. So the more we get to like just common knowledge, the better I'll get. But
And we have a fantastic GIS guy here in the city that works with our maps and all that. He's a wealth of information if you have questions.
Matt's great, and then Robbie is our grant administrator, I guess is what it's.
Yeah,
But Robbie is the grant guy, and so if you see him pop up in a meeting or something, he'll know all the ins and outs of this grant, of what we can do, what we can't do. But when it comes to right now where we're at, I still think they're trying to look at like a committee meeting and trying to get more of like stakeholders from the actual public sphere to be a part of this. We'll still all be involved in that, but this would be a whole different group of people. And so we'll just be bringing you guys in. Really, so far it's been more or less, we've had, I think, 2 meetings where we've kind of talked about what areas we kind of want to pinpoint and prioritize first, and that's where, I can't remember that gentleman's name.
From Davies, I can't either.
Where he's been going and actually assessing all the trees, and so.
But he is looking still for input about additional areas, because we're approaching that. I mean, we're above 2,000 now, but he's, I get it from his emails
we
that
have funding
he's a
for
little concerned
5,000,
about where he's
yeah.
gonna find the other 3, so input would be a good thing as well.
I mean, the only thing I can come up with is rights of way, because we just simply don't have that many public trees, which is why
That's the-
we.
That's the thing, if we could go into some other areas, but they have us pretty restricted to these 4.
Mhm.
So, like I said, I trust you as far as that goes. And I've
It's really
said
just
that.
rights of way. I mean, and that can help. I mean, it can help Conway Corp actually to know tree. I mean, I don't know if you guys already have any kind of a tree inventory of trees that might be affecting utilities and stuff. Because I mean, most of the utilities are along the streets, and
We
so
mostly rely on phone calls for that and just cleaning out.
yeah. But then also, I mean, I know.
Attractive to-
Philip Duval would be the man to ask about any of those questions, though. He's still over the tree clearing, right?
Who's that?
Philip Duval?
Reed Gibson, that's the guy's name.
I mostly deal with Ronson in engineering,
He's,
the contractors, but in the electric department, I think it is Phil Duval.
But it can also give us an idea, you know, you think about like the old Conway area, which is in one of the, is included in one of the tracks, and we've got a lot of aging, declining trees, and so it can kind of give us an idea, even if we're doing like the rights of way, which, you know, are trees on private land, but that the city may end up having some responsibility for these trees, and it gives us an idea too of, you know, what might we expect in the next few years as far as, you know, trees that need to be, you know, removed or pruned or things like that.
So like I said, that thing is still in the very early stage. I think that's projected to be done by the end of this year, I think is what they were saying, but
I can't remember the timeline.
it's a whole thing. So like I said, we'll be bringing you guys along with that. As far as all of our new business, so Jonathan and Clayton, you guys have both articles of bylaws. Article 1 is just a very like vanilla, generic, standard practice for all committees across the board for the city of Conway. Article 2 is more or less like specific to the tree board.
Thanks for coming.
In there, like I said, please feel free to read those, especially Article 2. That is gonna go over kind of how these meetings will kind of run, as far as we have to have at least majority of our crew here. Krista is, I think, our only non-voting member, correct?
And Ann, I think, or it does Ann vote?
Actually,
You vote?
they told me today that Ryan was able to vote if he
I
needed
think
to.
maybe you break ties
Yeah.
or something.
Cause Ryan would, I don't know, he was a voting member that last little bit. I don't know if he was ever.
But yeah, I don't vote.
So as long as we have a majority here, which right now we do, like I said, we're only missing Tyler as far as that goes. But we have to have at least majority to have a quorum. So any kind of actual voting that we need to do, so if we ever show up and people are absent and we can't have a quorum, then we can't make any kind of like actual real decisions there. Everything can be conversations, but then we'll have to be voted on. Stuff like our budget, what kind of activities we're gonna do, anything like that, we'll take that as a collective vote. That'll also go over some basic like FOIA groups, so anything that we send as far as like tree board related emails, text messages or something, all of those could be subject to FOIA, the Freedom of Information Act, where someone could ask for all this information for anything that we've talked about or anything like that. So,
Which honestly, as long as we're not doing anything like
The city gets
sneaky.
FOIA'd all day, every day. I
it
mean,
sounds a lot scarier than it is, but if we're doing any kind of emails, like I said, we always will have Ann or whoever our city liaison is at the time kind of go through there. And if we ever have any questions, we'll check in with Ann or Miss Felicia, who is chief of staff for the city, and making sure that we're kind of playing by all of those rules. Some stuff maybe, you know, we'll do some merch for like Arbor Day and things like that. We'll vote on that kind of stuff in a public space, but we may send an email of like, hey, does everyone like this design for something? Like some of that, some basic stuff like that.
I think there's like, yeah, it's a lot of, like we will email, like, you know, who's gonna be at the event, you know, on this date, or, you know, kind of logistical things, or like who's bringing the drinks to this volunteer event, or something like that. So, I mean, those things are fine too.
But that is something that you just need to be aware of just in case that does pop up. Knock on wood, that hasn't happened here, but like I said, we're not a board that's trying to do anything sketchy or nothing like that.
But there are people in the community who wanna know everything that's going on, and rather than go back and
Just keep it
watch it.
professional, and if there's
Yes.
a question, include Ann.
exactly.
As far as meeting dates go, so we meet the first Monday of every month. In the past couple of years, we have voted to suspend a couple of like the summer months and then kind of the holiday season, kind of depending. We'll get you guys a little bit more familiar with how these meetings roll before we start trying to vote on not having meetings. But any time that there's a holiday that's on a Monday, the city will be closed. I'll send you guys the city's holiday calendar. But any of those times, we just go to that next available Monday. I will always try to send out, or whoever our president's gonna be will send out the agenda and stuff like that, and try to make sure that we send out reminders of like, hey, we got a meeting next week or something like that. With that, this will be the hardest thing for our newcomers, but we always have to vote on a president, vice president, secretary, or I think it may be chair, vice chair, semantics at that point. But you'll have a chair who will be kind of the person who will, what I'm doing right now, just kind of leading over all of the meetings and stuff. You have a vice chair that'll obviously step in if the chair's ever out, and just kind of help with more of the training for these meetings. And then our secretary is probably like the hardest gig, just because you're in charge of like note keeping. So at this point,
And
while it
typing
is
up the
kind of,
minutes.
yes, you'll type up minutes. We have a Google Share Drive that has all of those. I think they date back to at least 2022 that I can find. I know 23, 24, 25 are on there, and I've already started 26. So for our newbies, I'll make sure we get you on there. And we might have to just like call IT at this point, bro, and just be like, hey,
I didn't
welcome,
see where
meet
you
me.
shared it with me the last time. I don't think I ever received the email.
I will double check.
Okay.
Who is vice chair this year?
It was Gabrielle.
Um,
Not Gabrielle,
Samantha.
it was, what's her?
Sam.
Sam, okay.
My
So
brain's
she's
not
out.
right today, I'm sorry.
She's done with her term, right?
Yes.
Typically, we'd like for the vice chair to step into the chair role. Then, you know,
That's pretty hard
So-
with three.
but it is when it's
I
only
nominate
3
Skylar for chair again because.
I'll have to look at the bylaws. I know in HCC and Planning Commission, you have to take a year
Oh,
off. Now, I don't know if the tree board bylaws say that. I'll have to find out, if y'all are okay with putting off these till next time.
We can. I don't think there's, the bylaws are over there, but I don't think there's anything, yeah, the Article 2 is the ones for the tree board. I don't think there's anything about I don't think there's anything about like consecutive terms as chair. The term is for a year, which is labeled from January to December. And then I think it wants you to be on the board for a year beforehand, but like last year, for instance, we had so many newer folks who were on the board that I don't even know if we had enough to really cover all three positions without, because like Tyler, that was his first year on the board.
Yeah, I mean, that's the problem with 3-year term.
But I will let you kind of double check that and we can kind of come back to that here in just a little bit. The next things that we'll do, so we do 2 big events every year. As a group, we can decide to increase that if we want to, but we do a spring tree giveaway and then we do Arbor Day. Arbor Day is always the first Saturday of November. So this year that falls on November 7th of 2026. And then our spring tree giveaway, that is going to be one of the first things that we need to decide on when we want to do this. Typically, we do this about the 3rd week in March. So last year we did it around the 22nd. If we stuck to that same deal, we'd be looking at March 21st.
21st is when I'm recommending it. That is, I know, the Saturday before spring break. But I think it'd be better to do it that first Saturday than the Saturday after spring break.
Because this will be one where we will need like people there. So if we can have everybody in the room there.
And it's really
then we
just
usually get
it's a
couple.
busy morning. We've been doing it at the Faulkner County Museum, which is like the log cabin that's next to the assessor's office. Do you know where that is? It's on Locust.
Big fire station right there in the middle.
We do it there because it actually works out really well, because it's got a big front porch, it's covered, so even if it's a little misty or even raining, we are covered, but there's a big front porch where like the people wanting trees come up to, but then we have the trees kind of in this, like the dog trot part of the cabin, so they're kind of not all just right.
So they're not just converging on it.
It's a good time. They come up beginning from the beginning, but then at the end they're coming from both directions.
Yeah.
You did it really well this past year. It was smooth.
Yep. We'll have a bunch of handouts and stuff, but like what
think
we'll
we've got-
do and
I can't quite remember, I'd have to look it up, but I think we've got like 1,200 trees ordered, so they're bare root seedling trees, and we'll have a line of people.
Mine are still alive from last year.
It's that first year, like she
Yeah.
said. You gotta go through that first summer, so you're good to go. I don't see anything in section 2.4 saying that Skylar can't serve 2 consecutive terms.
There
It says it
isn't-
needs to be in the 3rd year, which he now qualifies for. It didn't land.
Yeah,
we didn't have anybody in the
so-
third year last year.
the only thing that I would ask is the vice chair be in his 2nd year. So
Well, I'm in my 2nd year.
you can step into the chair next year.
We would love
This
to
And
have
it does
you.
say that in there.
Yeah.
So,
I would love to have you as vice chair.
Yeah. Well, I would love to be vice chair.
I will nominate.
I will second
Eric.
that. I will second that.
Am I
So,
allowed? I don't know that I'm allowed to nominate.
do you have any
anybody.
interest in being
I will
chair?
nominate him.
Or you-
Yeah.
Okay, so, yeah, Skylar, and if you could do vice chair and be ready to step into
I
that
definitely
next year.
can. I'm gonna email the heck out of him if I ever need to.
Okay.
I was texting Tracy today, and she was the chair before me, so.
Yeah.
Well then, if that's the case then, so, if I'm gonna step into the chair role, does anybody oppose? Cool, I'll take that over one more year, and then I will nominate Eric for the vice chair. Any seconds?
Second.
Cool, all in favor?
Aye. Cool. Do I get to vote?
You do get
Yes.
to vote.
You did get to vote.
Thanks, y'all.
Yeah, it's always weird if you don't want it and you're like, I'm gonna vote against that.
We may have voted for people.
And
who,
so
like,
we'll
weren't
need
present.
somebody to step into the secretary deal.
I don't think that Sam was here when we made her.
I think she might not have been.
That was
Tyler didn't want me to make him the secretary.
she
so
did
I'm
not want to be the chair though. She told me that well before that ever got there. She didn't. She had no
Neither of
intentions.
our.
So basically, we have 2.
Gabriella, do you have any
children,
interest in
2
being there?
people.
No?
I would rather not.
Should have been vice.
Okay.
Do either one of our new members want to take notes?
Oh boy.
Present minutes?
It's really not hard.
Yeah, so basically what we'll do is we'll type up all the minutes. I mean, this is what Tyler's look crazy good. I don't know how he got
I think they
his
could
so
be
well.
bullet points. I don't think.
Oh, he would have
I'll tell
like
you a
3
secret.
I try to get mine down to 1 page.
He had the transcript program and used ChatGPT.
Like I said, he
It
would
does
send
not
out.
have to be that fancy.
No,
No,
basically.
definitely
So like for instance,
I
if
think
we
you
were
can have the
doing-
agenda and you kind of filling out like what we talked about.
That's quite literally
Like,
what I'm
in
doing.
pencil?
So like I will do the meetings, the minutes for this first meeting, but that's literally what I'm doing is I have a copy of the agenda and I'm going through and I'm putting stuff like, okay, if we had a
Who
vote, who
nominated,
voted one, who voted two, and then like an extremely brief summary of what we actually talked about. So it doesn't have to be crazy. The more you do it, the easier it gets, and then you can make it as crazy as you want to, but we will need at least one person to kind of step into that secretary role of just kind of note keeping. So do we have any volunteers?
You got me.
You stepping
Come
up.
on, yeah, let's give it a round of applause.
I like, just 3 years, come on.
I think I did that the very first day. And I had never taken minutes before. I'm over here Googling like what are these supposed to look like. I got this. Well, cool. So then we got our,
We probably need to vote.
yes, anybody opposed?
No.
Perfect. So Logan, you are.
He said that.
No, you're not, no, nobody ever votes no if somebody says they'll be secretary. Ever.
Tyler will be happy. Well,
Yes, he will. I'm
Come
gonna
back to the
text him as
States and
soon
be like,
as it's
hey, dude,
over."
you're all good. So back to our spring tree giveaway, we'll need to kind of come up with a date. And for that one, the sooner the better.
I would say March 21st is my proposed date.
Does anybody know if they are not gonna be like in town that
Is that, spring break?
It's usually
It's
around
the
it,
It's
Saturday
one of the
before.
weeks.
so it's gonna be the one before again.
There's a- Okay. Is anybody got kids and gonna be gone over spring break?
I got kids, but
It's the Saturday
I'll
before.
drag one of them.
Which
if
we
need it.
can get a few college students to help too, but it is, I mean, honestly, it's a feel-good event, like.
Yeah, we only have 2 big things a year, we can,
And it's,
Only downside is that you never know if it's gonna feel good outside.
Cold.
yes, it
So
can be
cold.
really
It was
cold.
think that you're
gorgeous
out
this
of it.
last year.
But there's been some
The year
times where you
before
were
that, I
just
think it was
freezing.
raining.
Wear layers, because the one problem with that dog truck cabin is it's kind of like a wind tunnel.
Yes. But typically, I think the last couple of years, we've had what, like 8 or 9 different species?
Yeah, we've got a lot
Oh,
this
there
year.
was a bunch.
And so we'll have literally like a menu of what people will do. So we'll have a couple people, if you're not like a big like social person and you just wanna do the grunt work like I usually do and just grabbing trees, you can do that. If you're a big talker person and like Clayton, you are a forester, so I'm sure you know some ins and outs on some trees.
Because a lot of the people getting the trees do have questions, which we have like some handouts and
Yes.
stuff like that, but
And it may be like, hey, my yard's really wet. What tree would you recommend me getting?
I got you.
And then they'll ask
Great
stuff
at
like
If
that.
I could recommend something to y'all, if you're doing the grunt work, when you're first putting them into the bag, remember which one's which, because that's the question you get
Yes.
more than anything else, which
Oh,
one's
yeah.
which.
Yeah.
we could think about some way of marking the individual trees, if anybody has any
Zip
great
ties or
ideas.
something?
I messed
Yeah, different colored zip ties would be good.
between there and my house last year. I had them laid out and had it in my head. By the time I got home,
A lot of people, especially if they're fruit bearing, they'll grab 2 of the same ones. We don't really have much of like a limit on those.
Here's because part of the problem is we have to do everything fast. You know those little like twist ties that have like a little label that you can write on, like if you go to like a natural food store.
what did we do last year? We got
But
bread.
we have the bags already. I think we've got enough
okay.
of the bags.
So you
But-
want me to see if I can find something
Well,
that,
that's what I'm wondering about having the customers, clients, what do we call them, actually label their own. So it's not, so we're not having another step.
Because it would
Like a
slow
table for
us down a lot.
And we could have
to
a
label.
yeah, we could have.
Unless we had a
table with
puncher that clipped it
markers.
on there like
well,
tag
or
in the ear.
Well, I
I
mean,
could maybe,
Green Bay Packaging has given us some pine trees a couple of years, and I mean, they've literally given us like 1,200 pine trees.
Which fortunately you
alone.
can recognize the
Yeah,
pine
that's
tree.
Yes.
But
But I
what
mean, if we were having to
what
go
if I
through and
just
label
print it
everything, I
out?
mean, that could be almost 1,200 from
Too
the jump.
much, that's
Do
too
they come in
much.
boxes or they come in bags?
Massive bags.
So what if I just printed out a bunch of labels of the different species, and then if somebody's getting more than one tree and they can't tell them apart, then go over there and label them. Maybe have a station where all the labels are.
Because honestly, I mean, it could just be a sticky label and you just
Yeah.
fold it over.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
do, you know,
I mean, I'm thinking of those, sheets of those Avery
yeah.
labels, if I
I
can
like,
figure
I
out
like
how to
that,
line them up.
putting the onus on the customer themselves.
Have it available, and if you want to, yeah, you can go label it right over there.
We just need to remember from the bag to their hand, be like, this one's.
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
Once you take it, I'm no longer responsible.
Right.
Because some of them get a little bit easier,
But
but
I think last year we
Some
did.
have red bar.
Yeah, last year we did 10 to 12, which we'll have to be there a little bit early to set up. Isn't that what we did, 10 to 12?
I think so, yeah.
that sounds about right.
And then it'll take a little bit to clean up, but sometimes we sell out before 12.
It just depends. I mean, especially if we do, what was it, the red mulberries that we did that one year? I mean, those, and I think those were the least amount that we got because they're hard to get just in general. And I mean, those
Probably
things
somewhere in
will
this
go.
notebook I've
Very,
got a
very
list of what we.
But that's where you'll get some person who just bought a bunch of land and it's like, hey, I'm gonna try to make a fence row. And you're like, cool, how many of these do you want?
Well, if we have,
We
yeah, we
did
usually
4 last
limit,
year.
yeah, we limit the number per person.
Yes. And then at the end of the event, if it's, you know,
At the end, then.
if it's
And if
$11.50,
we have 1,200 pine trees, it's all the pines you want.
you'd be surprised though. Some people will stick around and just be like, well, hey, if no one comes and gets these, can I have them? And you're like, dude, absolutely, absolutely. Then that's what we'll go with. We'll go with the 21st again, and then 10 to noon.
Krista, if you'll just get me a list of the species, I'll make sure that we.
I will. I wanna reach out too, if you guys are okay with it, I wanted to reach out to Sam,
To make the thing.
to make the menu,
She did a
because
good
she's
job.
done that the last couple of years,
Okay.
and she does a great job, and that might be something she's still willing to do for us.
I was thinking
Unless
so.
somebody else just really wants to do it.
She did an excellent job.
She did good, but I can't, I do
I
canvas
wouldn't be
sometimes.
surprised if she
Yeah.
decided to come and sit at the table anyway.
I think
she's
that's
not
very
gonna volunteer.
possible, yeah.
As long as she's not all hobbled up.
Yeah, I think she's one-legged again.
I'll get together, I'll need some emails. I think I have y'all's emails, so we should be good there. But if y'all have any social media accounts, I can give you guys access to the Facebook and Instagram for this tree board. And that way, as a collective, it's just we try to go in there and answer questions or make posts or something. So we also have a Canva account. If you've never used it, it's pretty like just cut and paste pretty much. You can go and find a design and then literally just type in what like the dates are and stuff. For the spring tree giveaway thing, I'll make something that we can post on there and advertise, and then just as we move along throughout the year, that'll just need to be a collective thing from everybody to just try to make some kind of Facebook thing or something, or get on there and just answer some basic questions. When we get to Arbor Day, like I said, that'll be November 7th this year. That'll be a whole other monster. You may kind of go through the whole year and not really do too much, but when we get to Arbor Day, that'll be where everyone has to kick in. This past year, we did okay. There was still a lot of things that we could do better, and that is including on my own self here. Biggest thing being, we just need to start even sooner.
Yeah, and we're gonna increase our online presence for more exposure.
Yes.
Somehow we're gonna find ways to do that, so if any of y'all are experts in increasing online exposure for public events, feel free to add your input anywhere along the line. And I was actually going to ask, when do you think it is that we should start to reach out to people for Arbor Day this year? Because we, like you said, we waited too long last year. We've got this new contact for the public schools, maybe that she can get us, in addition to the mascots like we got last year, maybe she can get us the choir, so we're not tossing that around.
She may be a good person to reach out to now and figure out when she wants us to reach out for the next school year, because our event will happen whenever it's a whole new school year.
Mhm.
So, but it could be a good idea, like, I don't know when they start talking about curriculum, cause we're desperately wanting to get a choir to come back again.
Mhm.
And I think we definitely waited until, they may have already had their stuff planned out.
That was the issue with the Ida Burns choir when I checked.
Yeah, so I don't know, and I know that the teachers change schools sometimes.
Yeah, it's probably too early right now because it's next school year.
Yes, But I would
Once
say
once they
to-
get started with that school year, they're gonna start
I wouldn't
running
wait
through their.
until,
yeah.
I wouldn't wait until August. I'd go
No, I
ahead and
wouldn't
reach
either. I
out
think we
to
should
them
hit the
this school
teacher
year.
before, so she's got us in mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, that hey, whenever we start school, we're gonna start doing all these songs for.
So I'll
this.
reach out to, our contact at the schools and
Let her
see
know
what
what the
her
date is.
opinion is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now that I've got the date especially.
And then also with Arbor Day, one of the things that we got passed last year is the Bradford Pear Bounty Program. That is going to be something completely new for us. The way it'll work is citizens can send in a picture of their tree before and after they cut it, and then for Arbor Day we do tree giveaways there as well, but those will be in 3-gallon pots. So they're gonna be an actual tree as opposed to these little saplings we'll do in the spring.
And you have to go online and reserve them, right? And
Yes.
like we did, because the planning department got so many phone calls of people that said, that link's broken, this and that, which it wasn't because I tried it and it was
It
fine.
was broken for the first 30 minutes and then me and Tyler got together and we got it fixed like that.
But I can't
First 30
tell
minutes,
you.
the whole city is.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many people said, well, just have them put 2 back for me, and I'm like, no.
sorry.
So
Can't do
that'll be just how we reserve the trees, but for the Bradford Pear thing, I think right now we're just gonna do 25. I don't know how many people actually do it
Are we gonna have them pick up the trees?
at Arbor Day, yeah. I mean, if we're able to get them in sooner, I don't know how tree inventory looks, but the idea there is we would essentially let them pick which tree they wanted
I was
to.
fixing to say, how do you know, I mean,
I mean, if it's
Do they have a
25, so,
choice?
okay.
When we've got the order program set up, we used a certain program that Tyler and Sam can't have access to. And they were able to set up the quantity, so when we first get access to that program, before we make it go live for everybody to claim their trees, we'll just reach out to the 25 people who did that and say, what would you like to replace it, and we'll mark that off so it
Yeah.
removes it from the quantity.
okay.
That's a good idea.
Because the big thing was you just don't know what you're gonna have in stock.
Yes.
But I assume we're gonna kind of market or advertise the bounty when Bradford pears are blooming in the
Yes, we
spring.
wanna
I
do
think
that
that's
in
a
the
good
spring.
idea.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
most recognizable.
And
Because
then-
that's when and there will there be a period of time when they're supposed to cut their tree down?
Yeah, they have until I think it's July, or I think it's the end of July or the 1st of July where they have to submit their stuff.
Because it's also kind of
Gives
a
us-
public awareness campaign.
Yes. I think I'll send you guys the actual
Start the
program.
process of exposing Arbor Day too, because we'll be linking directly to that by saying you'll be able to pick up a new tree on November
So,
7th
Yes.
at our Arbor Day celebration, which you should all come to.
Yes. So I'll send you guys the actual program that has all that kind of language in there. But the key notes, we do not cut down the tree. The city does not cut down the tree. We don't pay for the tree to get cut down. It's just a way for us to just supply
Put a
you with
native back in that
Yes.
spot.
Most of our funding comes from Conway Corp. They've been great with us for the last couple years that I've been on the board. I'm assuming that they've been great with the city the whole time beforehand, but they usually donate, I think it's $5,000. And then that's,
Do we need to request that this year?
yes, I'll send that email. And then that's essentially most of our budget.
just give me a heads up that you've told them so I can start looking for it, because if it just goes upstairs, it's just gonna get stuck in general
That's what happened
fund.
to us last year.
And I had to ask and ask and ask and ask, so.
No,
I
I'll
don't
include
think
you
it
in
got
that email when I
appropriated
send it.
until like April or May.
The good thing is that, so I don't know how this happened, but last year we were able to order everything. We're almost like a season ahead. So like all of the trees for the spring tree giveaway, those have already been paid for and ordered.
Is that Bemis that we,
Not for this. The spring tree giveaway we order from Bockham and Missouri EDOC.
I don't think they're paid for.
They're paid for.
They are?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It was like in September. Because you have to order them that earlier, you won't get them.
Oh, I remember that. I remember that now. That had all the tree board stuff on it, that PO. Okay,
Yes.
I do remember it. I was panicking because Ryan spent just about all the money this year that y'all had appropriated.
Which is how it's supposed to work.
Yes, it is. That's exactly how it's supposed to work. I think the year before there was some rollover. There, I don't know, like $1,000 or something. But this year, it pretty much all got spent.
I think we have like $286 in the
Left.
budget, yeah.
Okay.
That should roll over.
Yes, it will.
But that $5,000 is usually what pays for like the whole shebang for most of it we spend on trees and then the Arbor Day event itself, which we did a bunch of stickers last year and I think we still have a ton of those left over.
And some really nice
We've still got
bags.
hot dogs left over. A whole case of them. I've got them in the freezer in here, so.
But that is where like eventually you guys all feel free to chime in. This is not like a solo project that I'm just running here, so just
Well, and there
anything
are
that you
opportunities
see.
for other activities also. Like we've talked
Yes.
about doing some kind of bird. Was it?
We talked about the birding thing. That's kind of
I think that one maybe died down, but then just kind of a general tree walk.
we postponed the tree walk for 2026.
Yeah.
Just to kind of get some more. So we can go over that a little bit more in February.
If it's anytime soon, we got plenty of hot dogs.
And then sometimes we do stuff with the art walk. So once again, this is where like for Clayton and Jonathan, if there's stuff that you're like passionate about that you do as like a hobby that makes sense for the tree board to be involved in, especially if it's in Conway, like just let us know. We always get invited to go and do the Master Gardener sale at the expo. I think that's usually in May?
Not this
Not
year.
this
though.
year.
It's a national conference
We're not. Yeah, we're not.
or state
having
conference.
So if we ever get invited to stuff like that, we'll try to send at least one or two people to do that. If it's an all-day thing, then we may kind of like be like, hey, who's available if we need to switch out stuff or something like that.
When does art walk begin again?
I don't know. I've never really been involved much with Art Walk. I just know that we've done stuff with there.
April.
So Gabrielle is the artwork person. Gonna note that.
I do go every time. I was thinking of like arts, craft about trees and like awareness. But
Well, see, that's perfect.
Build
So,
on those ideas, Gabrielle.
I got you.
so like I said, anything like that, feel free to, anytime you're gonna email somebody, just remember now you're considered like a representative of the city. Jonathan, that's something you've been doing for a while since you've been with the parks. But, so make sure that if we are reaching out to people, if they wanna, if we're inviting them to Arbor Day or whatever, that we're not sending anything that you wouldn't want the mayor to read or something like that. I think that we're pushing time here. Yeah, we're at 5:57 here. That kind of covers everything for just an entry level deal. It'll get a little bit better for Jonathan and Clayton as y'all kind of go. Right now it does, hopefully it's not too much information overload. Sometimes it's very hard to kind of give you a rundown on the board without it feeling like that.
And if you have any questions, you have all of our emails.
Yes.
Do you know about the
Do we have a
attendance
contact
policy?
list? We got this last
The
year.
attendance policy.
So is it 3 or 4?
On the,
3 and
3 in a row.
4 is when you get the nasty letter.
three is when you get the nasty letter, and if you miss another one
In a rolling 12 months.
in a rolling.
Yes.
If you miss in February, then you miss 2 more times before the following February.
Yes. That's how you
But-
can get off the board.
Those don't count if you agree to not meet. Like over the summer months or through Christmas and stuff, those don't count.
So like I said, it's like this past year, the last 2 years, I think we've taken off, was it June and July, and then we come back in August?
And then we took
And that
off.
way, you're not worried about like trying to plan a vacation around like being here on that Monday. And then I think we've usually done December off, have been the 3. Cause usually that means we have just enough time to come back, kind of recap how Arbor Day went, and then
I think with all the Davies stuff, the December one was a mistake. We should have had a meeting.
yeah,
I had
well,
so
normally
many
we don't have a
That's a
$250,000 grant on the line here,
Yeah.
so. But like I said, so moving forward, what we'll do is we'll just include you guys into these Davy group things, try to speed you up a little bit. Like I said,
I think the next meeting is actually Wednesday, isn't it Wednesday?
Tuesday
Oh
and
yeah, I
Wednesdays.
keep thinking today's Tuesday. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I've been really
I'm
messed
sorry
up
I
on my
didn't
days
write
the
the
last
whole-
2
I
weeks.
made a note to go back and look though. There you
No,
go.
it's Wednesday. It's every other Wednesday.
Because once garden club starts back up at Ida Burns, I can't ever stay for the end of the meeting. So if anything cool happens when I leave, y'all gotta tell me.
But I will send all you guys calendar invites. And like I said, feel free to just link me whatever your socials are. We can get you guys hooked up on the tree board stuff. Otherwise, just be looking out for emails. If y'all have questions, just feel free to blast us in that last little email group there. And our next meeting will be February 2nd in this building. So
I will not be here February 2nd.
What's that?
I'm going to set sail,
no.
go to Mexico.
Where at?
I don't even know. I've never been on a cruise
Somewhere
before
far
because
away.
I have a crippling fear of dark water.
What are you gonna do with yourself?
Gamble.
Takes
I'm
some-
either going to love it or spend the whole time.
You want me to email the captain so he'll just hug the coast the whole?
Yeah,
You doing
that'd be
a 5-day?
great.
You
That'd
doing a
be
5-day
great.
or?
I don't
You're
know.
just showing
5
up?
or 7. Yes.
I
I
just know what
tried
floor I'm on
everything
where
I
the
could.
bar is at.
I tried everything I could to get out of it, and they would not give us our money back. They would just do cruise credit.
Oh.
It was just a spur of the moment. Sure, let's go do this.
And you tried to get out of it?
Yes.
You're gonna have a great time.
We were good. We said let's just fly into Miami and drive down to the Keys, and that.
Oh, you're on a good boat then.
Well, no, I mean that was what we were going to do as the alternative of going on the cruise, and then they wouldn't give us our money back. So
Where are you porting out of? You still porting out of?
Galveston.
There's still
Or
some
New
good boats
Orleans.
there.
I need to.
Now you're literally just
I'm
gonna
going
show
the
up
end
in
of
a
this
car.
month. I need to look it
Your
up.
homework is to read your itinerary.
We did this.
Get your drink
We did this
packages
like back
on.
in July. I mean, it was just sort of a spur of the moment thing, and I've
You were
been.
feeling very brave at the time.
I was feeling brave. It was summertime,
The weather
and
was nice, the birds were tweeting.
and I've been in denial ever since about the entire situation.
I've only heard good things about cruises. I've never been on one. My wife wants to go. I don't know if I
Well,
want to be
I'll
on a
come
boat
back
with
and
that
tell
many
you
people.
either I'm never going on another one again as long as I live, or
Unless they're wrong about the
if there's an iceberg in the Caribbean, I'll find it. That's how.
I'm afraid norovirus might be
Probably
more
more.
likely.
Stop, no more. You're gonna have a great time.
But do
Nothing bad is gonna happen.
I can have somebody sit in here in my spot, like Tara can stay or something if I need.
That's totally up to you. Yeah, that'll be fine.
Somebody just keep us above board. I don't think it's gonna be a problem, because we do that.
Like I said, and then if we do run into anything, I'll be sure to email you.
Yeah.
Because I know that Ryan did a good job of like, we would bring up something, he'd be like, let me ask Felicia on that one.
Yeah.
And so if we do get a little crazy, we'll run that by you before we fully commit to something.
We can do that.
Well, cool. I'm gonna go ahead and turn this camera off. The way this camera works is there's just 2 buttons here. To start recording, you just have to hit one and then the other, and then vice versa to stop recording. This should be all static right now, means you're recording, and once we hit these buttons, then we'll kind of do like this little pulsing thing.